Chapter 1, I have 3 resonance palaces. The Great Xia, Tianxia Prefecture. In the sweltering heat of June, Nanfan City baked under the blazing sun. At the Nanfan Middle School, in a bright, spacious training ground, countless young boys and girls in practice uniforms were seated cross-legged around the edges, their youthful faces full of anticipation as they watched the 2 figures sparring at the center of the field. The wooden swords in the fighters' hands clashed fiercely, ringing out crisply and echoing throughout the arena. The 2 were around 15 or 16 years old. The boy on the right had a tall, lean frame and a handsome face, his bright eyes beneath his brows sharp and confident, his figure and aura both outstanding. Just his looks alone were enough to draw the bright-eyed gazes of several girls watching, their eyes shimmering shyly as they glanced at him. "Go, Li Luo!" A bolder girl even called out to cheer him on. In front of this boy named Li Luo stood another youth with a large, burly frame, whose rugged features and dark skin made him look like a bear in comparison to Li Luo's elegance. When he heard the girls cheering for Li Luo, a flicker of jealousy crossed his face as he grinned and shouted, "Li Luo, I'm not going easy on you anymore." He stepped forward heavily, the ground trembling under his feet as he swung his wooden sword down with a sharp whoosh of air, cutting straight toward Li Luo. As the blade sliced down, Li Luo's eyes glinted. He tapped the ground lightly with his toes, his figure darting away swiftly, his steps as agile as a flying sparrow, dodging the heavy, forceful strike with ease. "That's the sparrow step!" Someone in the crowd exclaimed in admiration. It was a low-tier resonance art, and while many present knew it, few could use it as fluidly as Li Luo. Like a sparrow, Li Luo closed the distance to the burly boy, drawing his wooden sword in a sudden flash. For an instant, a cold gleam of light flickered as he thrust rapidly toward the boy's chest. Seeing the strike coming, the burly boy's expression changed. However, he wasn't weak either, forcing himself to steady his stance, he stomped hard on the ground and leaped backward several steps. At the same time, a faint silver light shimmered around his body, and his hand gripping the wooden sword seemed to blur into a silver bear paw. A low growl, like a bear's roar, rumbled faintly from within him. Seeing this, the onlooking students exclaimed, "That's Zhao Kuo's 5-grade silver bear resonance. Looks like he's getting serious." Amid the gasps, Zhao Kuo stepped forward, the ground cracking beneath his feet as he swung his heavy sword with brutal force, creating a gust of wind as it cleaved toward Li Luo. Silver light rose from the wooden blade, accompanied by the piercing sound of rushing air. "Violent cleave!" Zhao Kuo roared as he brought down his blade, clashing directly with Li Luo's thrust. Bang! The next moment, the 2 swords collided with a sharp crack. Under the fierce impact, Li Luo's wooden sword shattered almost instantly, unable to withstand the bear-like force surging through it, sending splinters flying. The force sent Li Luo staggering back over 10 steps before he managed to stabilize himself. Looking down at the broken wooden sword in his hand, he gave a helpless smile. "All right, Zhao Kuo, you win." Sigh. As soon as he said that, disappointed sighs echoed from some of the girls, while many of the boys smirked, inwardly satisfied to see Li Luo, who was always so popular with the girls, finally lose. It's a shame, really. Li Luo's attacks were sharper, and his use of resonance arts is way better than Zhao Kuo's. If he had a resonance, he would VE1 easily. Yeah, Zhao Kuo's 5-grade silver bear resonance makes his strength monstrous, and his resonance force has probably reached the 5 seal level. He's the strongest in our 2nd academy. Li Luo's talent in learning resonance arts is amazing, but he was born with an empty resonance. Without strong resonance force, No matter how skilled he is in techniques, it's useless. Haha, don't pity him too much. Do you know who Li Luo is? He is the young master of the Luolan mansion, one of the 4 great houses of the Great Xia. His parents were the youngest marketeer experts in the country, and in just 10 years, they built Luolan mansion into one of the 4 great houses, famous even outside the Great Xia. Yeah, but that's old news now. Ever since his parents disappeared 3 years ago on the Marquee battlefield, Luolan mansion has declined. I've heard it's full of internal conflict now, and it might even split apart soon. I doubt he'll stay the young master for long. Oh really? Isn't the current head of Luolan mansion's senior sister Zhang Qingyi? At the mention of that name, the boys' eyes around them all lit up, as she was a legend within Nanfan Middle School. However, remembering her connection with Li Luo, they glanced at him with complicated looks. While the students were whispering, Zhao Kuo walked over to Li Luo, giving his shoulder a firm pat as he grinned, "You all right? Don't blame me for going all out." Li Luo smiled back. Zhao Kuo was straightforward, and they were good friends. Besides, this wasn't Zhao Kuo's fault. After all, having an empty resonance was Li Luo's biggest flaw. Near the edge of the field, a middle-aged man turned his gaze away from the two. His name was Su Shanyu, a teacher in the 2nd Academy. His eyes were filled with regret. Li Luo's comprehension was outstanding, mastering resonance arts faster than anyone else. He clearly inherited the exceptional talent of his parents, even surpassing them. But sadly, Li Luo was born with an empty resonance, making it hard for him to cultivate resonance force. For humans, cultivation relied on their resonances to absorb the world's energy, refining it into what was known as resonance force. There were countless types of resonances, generally divided into elemental resonances and beast resonances. Elemental resonances included water, fire, wind, thunder, etc. Beast resonances were said to originate when a supreme human expert fused the spirits of 10,000 beasts into human bloodlines to strengthen humanity, creating beast resonances. Regardless of type, resonances were ranked from grade 1 to 9. When children turned around 10 years old, a resonance palace would awaken within them, and their resonance would manifest. For Zhao Kuo, his resonance palace awakened with a 5-grade silver bear resonance, a type of beast resonance known for its immense strength, allowing him to unleash devastating power. Li Luo's problem was that when his resonance palace awakened, it revealed nothing within, completely empty, earning him the extremely rare title of empty resonance. Without a resonance to absorb and refine the world's energy, Li Luo naturally struggled to cultivate powerful resonance force, which was the true reason he lost to Zhao Kuo. Because his resonance palace had no resonance. The school had conducted many tests due to Li Luo's parents' remarkable legacy, hoping he would enter the prestigious St. Qian Star Academy. In his first year, Li Luo did not disappoint, showcasing incredible talent in learning resonance arts, earning him a place in the first academy, where the most gifted students of Tianxia Prefecture gathered. But as time passed and the students' resonance palaces awakened, Li Luo's embarrassing situation became apparent. Everyone else had resonances, his palace was empty. Without a resonance, even if he learned resonance arts quickly, his resonance force improved painfully slowly, eventually falling below the first academy's average. Since resonance arts required strong resonance force to be truly powerful, Li Luo's lack of it rendered even the strongest arts nearly useless. After repeated examinations, the school concluded it was due to Li Luo's physique. This unique condition meant he lacked a resonance, making it extremely difficult for him to absorb and refine the world's energy, leading to a harsh cultivation path. Because of this, the first academy's resonance master requested that Li Luo be transferred to the second academy. This was reasonable. The first academy was the pride of the school, and the master didn't want Li Luo dragging them down. More importantly, by then, Li Luo's parents had been missing for a long time, and the Luolan mansion, lacking its two pillars, had become the weakest among the four great houses, facing increasing challenges. Thus, Li Luo ended up in the second academy. Su Shanyu sighed inwardly. When Li Luo first arrived in the second academy, Zhao Kuo was no match for him. But in just half a year, Zhao Kuo had started to surpass him. At this rate, Li Luo's ranking would continue to slip, and the prestigious St. Qian Star Academy would likely remain out of his reach. Su Shanyu looked at Li Luo's tall, handsome figure and calm expression with deep regret. The boy was trying so hard, but because of his parents' excellence, people's expectations were unrealistically high. Now, that excellence became a burden. After all, people would only say tiger father, dog son without caring about the truth. Li Luo, under many regretful gazes, brushed off the wood splinters from his clothes and sat down cross-legged. Of course, he knew what everyone was thinking at this moment. Empty resonance. It was a clear sign of a dim future. Li Luo's lips twitched as he unconsciously touched his lower abdomen. In truth, no one else knew his secret. Most cultivators would only develop one resonance palace initially, gaining a second upon reaching the Marquis tier, and a third at the King tier, a realm so rare that even in the vast Great Xia, few had ever reached it. However, exceptions existed. There were rare cases where prodigies might awaken a second resonance palace before reaching the Marquis tier, but the probability was incredibly low. Li Luo's unique situation was exactly that. Even though he was only at the initial 10 seal stage, his body didn't just have one resonance palace, but 3. That's right, something only peak King tier experts could achieve appeared in Li Luo's body. But the most frustrating part, all 3 resonance palaces were empty. So, if having one empty resonance palace meant a hopeless future, then what about having 3? Did that mean he was even more hopeless? Or Li Luo sighed, his expression turning a bit gloomy. As he was lost in thought, Zhao Kuo sat down beside him and asked in a low voice, "Still haven't solved your empty resonance problem?" Li Luo just shook his head. Seeing this, Zhao Kuo sighed helplessly. He knew it was a stupid question. Resonances were determined at birth, and there was no such thing as acquiring one later. Li Luo's problem was a massive roadblock. While they were talking, Su Shanyu entered the field and encouraged Li Luo before turning to the students. "Everyone, next month, the most important entrance exams will begin. Whether you can enter a higher academy depends on your performance, so train hard." Hearing this, the students' faces turned serious. After all, these exams would determine their future. With that, Su Shanyu dismissed the class. Li Luo and Zhao Kuo walked out with the crowd. "I'm going to practice my resonance arts more." "You're a monster, you know that if your resonance force were stronger, I'd have no chance against you," Zhao Kuo sighed as he waved goodbye. Li Luo smiled, understanding that Zhao Kuo was just worried the match had upset him, so he left first. He was long used to it. Li Luo headed down the tree-lined path out of the academy. Many students along the way turned to look at him, for even beyond his good looks, Li Luo's story was well known throughout the academy. Li Luo paid no mind to the gazes as he continued until he reached the academy gates, where a large crowd had gathered noisily. The students were surrounding a stone wall, the academy's wall of honor, which recorded all the prodigies who had emerged from Nanfan Middle School. Students had seen this wall countless times, but it was always crowded. Li Luo knew why. Because they were all there for her. Li Luo's gaze turned toward a crystal embedded high on the wall, from which beams of light projected to form the lifelike image of a tall, slender girl. She wore the Academy's white uniform with a blue short cloak swaying lightly, a black skirt, and long, slender legs that were dazzlingly pale. Her delicate features, high nose, and long, thick lashes complemented skin as fair as snow, but what stood out the most were her golden eyes. Those pure, golden eyes carried an indescribable pressure when stared at for too long. Her expression was calm and cold as she gazed forward, one hand resting on her slim waist while the other held a heavy sword, exuding a striking, commanding presence. She was a girl whose beauty and aura could make anyone's heart race. Behind the projection, her name was engraved on the wall, Zhang Qingyi. She was the pride of Nanfan Middle School, possessing a 9-grade light resonance, her talent astonishing all of Great Xia. Within just 2 years of enrollment, before even reaching the graduation exams, she was specially admitted into the St. Qian Star Academy, becoming the first student in Tianshu Prefecture in a century to receive such an honor. She had become a legend in the academy, admired by countless students, and now, she was famous throughout Great Xia. Li Luo stared blankly at Zhang Qingyi's image, sensing the envious, strange gazes turning toward him from the surrounding students. They all looked at him because of her. Because Zhang Qingyi wasn't just a legend in the